In the late winter of January, the changing situation in the Taiwan Strait was like falling leaves in the cold wind, which was dizzying to watch. Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang made clear to the United States China's position on the Taiwan issue, emphasizing that the United States should respect China's internal affairs. However, the United States chose to use offensive terms such as unilaterally changing the status quo in an attempt to discredit mainland China, and accuse it of undermining the status quo across the Taiwan Strait. Clarifying the nature and positioning of the two sides of the Taiwan Strait is the key to solving the Taiwan issue. Undoubtedly, both sides of the Taiwan Strait belong to one China. The government of the People's Republic of China is the sole legal government of the whole of China, and Taiwan is an inalienable part of China. However, the United States colluded with Taiwan to hinder China's reunification process and national rejuvenation, and to maintain its hegemony in the Asia-Pacific region. This link is a direct provocation to China's great cause of reunification. The Taiwan Strait is China's core interest area, and any provocative actions may lead to military conflicts and regional turmoil. The US military sales to Taiwan and the frequent dispatch of warships and planes into the Taiwan Strait have aggravated regional tensions and are likely to lead to miscalculation and unexpected events. This not only has an impact on cross-strait relations, but also has a negative impact on regional peace and security. In the face of US actions, China must take a more resolute response and not allow it to cross the border further. China should resolutely defend its own interests and prevent the United States from gaining ground. Only by resolving the Taiwan issue can Sino-US relations truly return to normal. The United States must realize that the Taiwan issue is the core of China's core interests, and China will never compromise on the issue of safeguarding its own sovereignty and territorial integrity. Any attempt to continue playing the Taiwan card will bring huge risks, which will not only damage the peace and stability of the Taiwan Strait, but also cause serious harm to the interests of the United States itself. At the same time, Japanese media revealed a shocking news. The Chinese People's Liberation Army plans to deploy 4 warships around the Taiwan Strait, one of which is even close to the Diaoyu Islands. This move not only disturbed Japan's nerves, but also aroused the international community's great attention to the situation in the Taiwan Strait. The Japanese government, out of concern for Taiwan's security, has begun formulating an emergency evacuation plan. The formulation of this plan is not only a response to the situation in Taiwan, but also a reflection of the concerns of the Japanese people. The military in Taiwan responded quickly to this series of developments. They said they would pay close attention to the dynamics of the People's Liberation Army and adjust their troop deployment according to the situation. Taiwan's retired General Liu Lishi questioned in a program, "Facing the People's Liberation Army's long-range rocket force, how can the Taiwan military keep track of its movements?" In fact, the PHL-191 rocket launcher of the People's Liberation Army of the People's Republic of China is enough to cover the entire territory of Taiwan. This highly mobile weapon makes the deployment of the mainland's army more flexible. In this geopolitical chess game, every country is making careful arrangements for its own security and interests. The Japanese government, worried about being drawn into the war, refused to allow the US military to use its military bases in Japan. This has resulted in restrictions on the US military's operations in Asia. Their warships dare not enter the first island chain, and all warships must withdraw beyond the range of the People's Liberation Army. Although this series of military measures taken by China appear to be preparations for resolving the Taiwan issue, they are actually more aimed at deterring Taiwan independence forces and maintaining stability across the Taiwan Strait. The mainland always adheres to the principle of peaceful reunification and will not use force easily. But at the same time, if the Taiwan Democratic Progressive Party and the authorities led by Lai Ching-te continue along the path of Taiwan independence, then these deployments may become the vanguard of the liberation war. In this era of increasingly fierce international competition, every fluctuation in the situation in the Taiwan Strait attracts global attention. From the People's Liberation Army's military deployment to Japan's evacuation plan, every action is full of far-reaching significance. Japan's evacuation plan is not only a direct response to tensions across the Taiwan Strait, but also reflects Japan's deep concerns about possible regional conflicts. The formulation of this strategy demonstrates the Japanese government's sense of responsibility in protecting the safety of its citizens, while also exposing its vulnerability and uncertainty on regional security issues. For Japan, the stability of the Taiwan Strait is directly related to its national security and regional strategic layout. The United States has expressed support for Taiwan, but on the other hand, it must take into account its complicated relationship with mainland China. This dual role makes the US strategy on the Taiwan Strait issue more subtle and complex. The United States military deployment in Asia, especially its bases in Japan, is an important part of its global strategy. However, in the face of the Japanese government's rejection, the US military's ability to operate in Asia has been restricted, which undoubtedly affects its influence in the Taiwan Strait situation. If the Taiwan authorities continue to promote the Taiwan independence policy, it will not only intensify the tension in cross-strait relations, but may also trigger larger-scale conflicts and even affect the peace and stability of the entire region. The United States military layout in Asia, especially its military base in Japan, is the key to maintaining its regional influence. However, the Japanese government's refusal to allow the US military to use its bases not only limits the US's ability to conduct military operations in Asia, but also reflects challenges to US influence among its allies in the region. In this case, mainland China's military deployment and strategic choices are particularly important. On the one hand, the mainland needs to demonstrate its determination and ability to defend national sovereignty and territorial integrity. On the other hand, it also needs to demonstrate its commitment to peace and stability. The People's Liberation Army's military deployment in the Taiwan Strait aims to safeguard national interests by strengthening its military presence. But this does not mean that the mainland wants the conflict to escalate. In fact, the mainland has always emphasized the principle of peaceful reunification and hopes to resolve cross-strait issues through peaceful means.